Hey everyone, welcome back to the Content Club with myself, Tina Calder from Excalibur Press. We are on episode number 11. I'm very excited. We're really on a roll. And I'm so excited that I've heard from so many people who keep coming back and listening to more and more of the podcasts. It's amazing. Do you know what? It just gives me a really great sense of achievement, I suppose, because when I first started these little over about 2 months ago, I wasn't sure whether or not people would want to listen in, would want this kind of information in podcast form. So you've given me some amazing encouragement, and I hope that I can do the same back. So we're on to, as I say, number 11 in our episodes, and this time we are going to be looking at, some quick and easy top tips when writing a blog post. And all it is just a little bit of information that can maybe just, give you a little bit of a head start or get you moving on something that you've maybe get stuck on. It's not meant to be intensive. It's not meant to be a whole load of information, but just a little bit of bite size. So I suppose creating a blog post, well, in my head, should be relatively easy once you get into that rhythm of how you're going to do them and what style you're going to write them in. And I cannot stress this enough, but practice really does help, and the more you write, the better you'll become. So, I've heard of clients who spend hours, literally hours on them, and I really don't recommend this unless you're deliberately constructing a piece of long form content that's really well researched and has a lot of information in it. Ideally, you want to be limiting yourself to around about an hour. I can write a basic blog post for a client in around 15 to 20 minutes, but I must actually say I have been doing it for an awful long time, and usually I have quite intimate knowledge of what it is that we're going to be writing about and how we're intending to proceed with that. So I don't expect anyone to be writing at the same pace as one of my professional writers. However, an hour is a really nice pace. It gives you 15 minutes to have a wee think, a wee procrastinate, jot down some notes, half an hour to write it, and another 15 minutes to go over it and to make some tweaks. And I suppose for me, a lot of people won't agree with this, but for me, starting with the headline is better. Funny enough, in journalism, we don't necessarily start with the headline. We start with the story and then we take the headline from it. But for blog posts, I'm very much of the school of thought that we should start with a headline, decide what it is that you want to be telling or giving, or the problem that you want to solve, and then taking it from there. So you have to think about this headline, especially in the digital world, will be used to sell your piece of content and encourage readers or users to engage by clicking on it. So when you're writing that headline, ideally you want it to be informative, you want it to be interesting, you want it to evoke curiosity, you want it to be inspirational, you want it to inspire the reader, and really to be truthful to what the content is. It is understood that not all headlines can be all things, and sometimes, I suppose for me, it's taking a leaf out of Roy Walker's book and saying what you see. Say what you see. For those of you who are too young, that was a catchphrase reference. I sincerely hope there's not too many people who don't get that one. Anyway, finding a good balance of the amount of time you want to spend on a headline is absolutely imperative. You want to evaluate the type of content. Timeless content that can be shared over and over again should always take longer to shape. Throwaway content, which goes out of time or fashion quickly, can be developed an awful lot quicker. So, depending on your brand, don't be afraid to be controversial or challenging, off the wall, or even overexcited. I tend to get a little overexcited in my podcasts. Do have to apologise about that. So yeah, you want to be careful you don't make the reader feel negative emotion unless it's completely appropriate to do so. Excuse me. Making a reader feel emotions like these can work against you unless, of course, your man is trying to specifically invoke these emotions. And we do have another blog post and podcast about the tone and the language that you use. So as I said, try not to make your reader angry, sad, depressed, frustrated. Don't want them to feel lied to, confused or bored. because traditionally they won't do as well. It's slightly different for the news media. The news media is, of course, trading in, I suppose, bad news, you know, and yes, we all click on those scary stories, but when it comes to your brand, you're wanting people to be in a good place. Excuse me. So negative feelings can cause your potential reader to switch off before they've assessed, you know, whether they'd be interested. And always look at some websites that could be inspirational to you. Social media institutions are developing content headlines already, and they're working, you know, but these institutions have big business behind them. Don't be disappointed if your content doesn't deliver the way theirs does. You know, I really like to dip in and out of websites such as BuzzFeed.com, Upworthy, IFLScience.com, Metro, Huffington Post, because they always have really nice ways in which they've done their headlines. Some of them are a bit too long for me, but you know, others can be quite good. Anyway, don't be afraid to Google the content that you actually want to create and take inspiration from how other people have done it. There's always a good chance that there's someone somewhere out there who's done something similar, and it can give you some inspiration as to how you might want to shape yours. Do not copy. Do not plagiarize. Please create your own. So that's a couple of very quick tips, because today's we wanted to make sure it was nice and short. And of course, as always, if you need help creating your content or copywriting or even in the publicity area, please do give us a call. You can get us, you can email me, tina@excaliburpress.co.uk, or you can check me out on social. You can get me on Twitter, Tina Calder. You can get me on Instagram, Tina Belfast, and you can get me on Facebook, Tina Calder Journal. And of course, the only thing left to say is we would love it if you would join us at the Content Club on Facebook, which is facebook.com/groups/Content Club Community. And of course, on the website, contentclub.excaliburpress.co.uk. So thank you so much again for tuning in. We will be back with a slightly longer podcast later in the week, so do keep your eye out for that. Thank you. Bye bye.